Someone hid the words nuclear weapon inside a piece of malware.
Not to threaten anyone, to confuse the AI trying to catch it.
The AI reads the words, refuses to touch anything that sensitive, and moves on. The actual malicious code just sits there, never examined.
Attackers figured out the safety rules before the defenders did. The payload itself is completely ordinary, a credential stealer, a security threat any analyst would catch in 20 minutes. What makes this interesting is the attacker didn't have to beat the analyst. They just had to know how to stop the analyst from looking.
The hidden text isn't functional. It's just words sitting in the file, references to uranium enrichment, and that's enough. The AI reads them and decides this is too sensitive to touch.
Most AI security tools are built with content filters for exactly this reason. You don't want an AI helpfully walking someone through uranium enrichment. So the filter trips, the tool refuses, and the actual malware, the thing that steals your passwords, sits there, never looked at.
This takes almost no effort. You're not cracking the AI, you're not finding some technical vulnerability in how it processes code, you're just writing forbidden words in a comment field.
It's closer to a social engineering attack than a technical one, except the target isn't a person, it's a model, and the model has no way to distinguish between a document that mentions uranium because it's a weapons manual and a document that mentions uranium because someone wanted the AI to stop reading.
The model doesn't come back to it with a fresh pass. There's no escalation path, no human review triggered. The file just never gets analyzed.
Security researchers have been warning for a couple of years that as AI tools get embedded into the analysis pipeline, attackers will start treating those tools as the target, not the network, not the endpoint, the AI doing the detection.
And this is a proof of concept that it works. Whoever built this malware didn't need to understand how the AI model was trained or how its weights are structured. They just needed to know what makes it flinch.
Which is public knowledge. Every AI tool that ships with a content policy is also shipping a map of its own blind spots.
The obvious fix is to build analyzers that can look at what the file does, not what it says. A model that reads uranium references as data points rather than instructions.
Building a model that can safely reason about weapons material without becoming a weapons manual is one of the hardest problems in AI safety. Nobody has solved it.
Which means the vulnerability stays open.
There's a company called Alchemy, a blockchain infrastructure company that just got access to the Visa network, not for a new credit card, not for a new payment app, so that AI agents can spend money on your behalf. Real purchases, real Visa transactions, no checkout screen, no confirmation email, no moment where you say yes.
The agent, software running on your behalf, making decisions without asking you, just buys the thing.
Books the flight, renews the subscription, orders the groceries, and Visa is fine with this. They built an infrastructure layer specifically for it.
Visa didn't just approve one company doing something unusual. Visa, Stripe, and MasterCard, the companies that move money between your bank and every store you've ever shopped at, are all actively racing to become the payment rails for autonomous AI spending. That's a strategic decision at the highest level of global finance.
Because whoever owns that infrastructure owns a cut of every transaction an AI agent ever makes. And if agents start handling a meaningful share of consumer spending, travel, subscriptions, household goods, that's not a small number.
The current model assumes a human at the end of every purchase. You see the price, you click buy, you get the confirmation. All of that exists because commerce was designed around a person making a decision.
And now the decision maker is software, which raises questions nobody has worked out yet. If the agent buys something wrong, who returns it? If it gets compromised and goes on a spending spree, what does liability look like? Credit card fraud protections were written for humans.
What it means for the agent to have preferences is the deeper question. Right now, it spends based on your instructions, but the model it runs on was trained on something, optimized for something.
And at some point, your agent's choices might look a lot more like its choices. Nobody has worked out how you'd even know when that's happened. Midjourney has been making AI-generated images for a couple of years. You've probably seen the photorealistic portraits or the fantasy landscapes people post online. Now they're building a full-body ultrasound scanner.
Not software, hardware, a physical device you walk into.
Ultrasound works by sending sound waves through your body and reading what bounces back. It's how doctors check on babies during pregnancy, but also how they look at organs, blood flow, tissue. Midjourney's claim is that their scanner does this for your entire body and produces images that, in some respects, beat what you'd get from an MRI. Their words are superior to even MRI machines. That's a significant claim, and one that hasn't been independently validated.
An MRI is a massive hospital machine. Usually takes an hour, costs thousands of dollars, requires a referral. You don't just get one.
The pitch here is that you do. You step in once a year, or apparently even more often than that, and get a full picture of what's happening inside. Muscle, fat, organs, all of it. And they're framing it as a spa experience.
Not a clinic, not a diagnostic center, a spa.
It's positioning this as something you opt into for wellness, rather than something a doctor orders because something is wrong.
The question is whether the images are actually as good as they say. Resolution, how fine of detail the image can distinguish, matters enormously in diagnostic scanning. The difference between spotting something early and missing it is often measured in millimeters.
And ultrasound and MRI aren't the same technology. MRI uses magnetic fields, ultrasound uses sound. Claiming equivalence is a big claim.
Is this a scanner or a generator? Midjourney's core technology produces convincing images. In medical imaging, you need accurate ones. Those aren't the same thing.
And if the AI is interpreting what it sees and producing a report, you have no way to audit what it found, what it flagged, or what it decided wasn't worth mentioning.
Midjourney went from text to image to this, which means either someone there had a completely unrelated idea and ran with it, or they see something in the pattern recognition problem that the rest of medicine hasn't figured out yet. The interesting version of that question is whether interpreting a body scan is actually the same class of problem as interpreting a photograph, finding meaningful signal in a field of visual noise. If it is, Midjourney has been training for this without knowing it. If it isn't, the images will look impressive and miss things.
And right now, there's no public clinical data to tell you which of those is true.
NVIDIA's lab runs robot training sessions at night with no one in the room.
Just AI agents alone teaching robots how to install GPUs into motherboards.
Which is one of the most finicky things a human does with a computer. Aligning pins, applying pressure in exactly the right place, not snapping anything.
Researchers came in the next morning and checked the results, and the plan is to open source it so anyone running a robotics project could have access to a trainer that just runs overnight and keeps getting better.
A robot that teaches itself while you sleep is one thing. A robot trainer anyone can download changes who has access to this.
France just drew a hard line. Starting in 2027, it stops certifying security products that aren't quantum safe. And by 2030, the government should be buying only products that can resist a quantum attack.
Quantum computers are a new class of machine that exploits the physics of subatomic particles to test enormous numbers of possibilities simultaneously, which means they can run through encryption keys at speeds that would make today's protection effectively useless.
The kind of encryption that locks your bank account, your messages, your crypto wallet.
Bitcoin runs on exactly that kind of encryption.
So does almost every crypto wallet in existence.
France is the first major government to set an actual deadline.
What happens to wallets that never get updated? Nobody knows.
There's a 20-year-old NASA telescope that was weeks away from burning up in the atmosphere.
SWIFT. It studies gamma-ray bursts, which are the most violent explosions in the universe. It's been up there since 2004.
Engineers built an entirely new rescue spacecraft in under a year, a small vehicle called Link launching June 27th, designed to grab Swift in orbit and push it back up to a safe altitude.
No repair crew, no shuttle, just a purpose-built spacecraft that goes up, docks, and reboosts.
If it works, you have a proof of concept for fixing drifting spacecraft instead of writing them off.
A lot of things are drifting. Today, malware hiding behind nuclear keywords, AI agents spending your money, and Midjourney building a body scanner.
This has been the Pulse Brief for Thursday, June 18th.
See you tomorrow. Singularity Pulse is for informational purposes only. Nothing here is financial, legal, or professional advice. Views expressed are our own.
I'm Knox. Every Saturday on Pulse Deep Dive, one story told in acts. This season, how AI happened, who really invented the internet, and going back to the moon 53 years later. New chapter every Saturday. Find it wherever you listen.
Origins is a different kind of show. Every Sunday, we investigate the forces that shape the modern world, the geography, the science, the commerce, the decisions made centuries ago that are still playing out today. Find it wherever you listen to this podcast.